Ladies and gentlemen, the duo of destruction are back.
We are indeed, and thankfully my voice has returned to normal.
Sort of.
Pretty much.
Mostly.
Mostly.
It mostly doesn't come back at all.
No, thankfully not a repeat of a couple of years ago when I pretty much just blew out my voice. Thankfully, didn't do that again.
Oh dear. So.
How have you been?
Crying.
Why?
I don't know, just my sleep pattern's just been not so healthy at the moment with the waking up in the middle of the night thing.
That's always fun.
Yeah. But apart from that, I've got the GTX 1070 review up, which took me a while with the constant, I'm going to restart this, I don't like where it's going. Even now,
perfectionist problems.
Even now I'm still noticing little things. Like one thing that really annoyed me is I said 1080p rather than the GTX 1080.
I'm sure people know what you meant.
So it's like little things like that really make my OCD go. But
well, you're never going to get it perfect, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I probably should get the review up at this point because
it was kind of reaching silly levels for a bit.
I think it's because as well I wanted to try and figure out what I want to do. I'm still not 100% happy with the review process yet, but it's getting closer to the final countdown. Better stop there. YouTube copyright will probably grab us.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, what about you?
I'm good. I've just been enjoying a week off from my day job, which sadly today is the last day of that, so QQ more for me.
I can see so much sadness in you.
I know. It's not helping that this time last weekend I was at a festival.
This time last week you were happy.
yes I was.
Yeah, but you're in the middle of a field struggling to go to the toilet in like a cubicle, basically.
Yeah, I mean this time last week I don't know. I was watching. Can't remember, but I'm sure they were good.
And if not, you were in the middle of a field thinking, "Behold my field! It is."
It's a great field.
Yeah, it is empty of life fucks.
It's best field.
Yeah.
Bloodstock field is best field. But other than that, I've been alright. Just relaxing, enjoying my holiday.
Relaxing, all cool.
Yeah.
Shooting some people.
Outside of the school.
Have you been gaming at all?
A little bit, yeah. I'm played a bit more Doom.
Okay.
And I think I've got to the final boss. But I started getting really tired, so I wanted to kind of just plow through and beat him. I was like, I'm getting too tired to play this. So
you're only processing like half the frames, so you're a consoles player at that point.
Yeah, so at some point today, hopefully I can finish that. So that's one game checked off my list, just in time for some DLC to be announced for Dark Souls 3 to put me back into that game again.
Yeah, let me guess. You're gonna complete the DLC, right?
Yep.
And then you're gonna restart the entire game again.
Well, there's a second character that I need to actually complete things with, so I might just go back to them.
Oh dear. I've been gaming a little bit as well. I've been doing the retro gaming a little bit again.
I've been in a retro mood lately.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Streets of Rage 1.
A classic.
Because I slightly missed the anniversary of the 25th, I believe, anniversary.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, which is depressing on
every
single level.
A little bit.
And aside from that, I've just been going through a few games here and there. I've not really... I can't really seem to settle on a game at the moment.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, I'm looking at my library of the 200, maybe 300 games or whatever the hell I've got. I'm like, nah. And then I think, if I bought this game, this would definitely entertain me for the next. And I thought, So I've been playing a little bit of Resident Evil Revelations 2. But it's been so long since I played the game. I tried to jump straight into episode 2 after completing episode 1 way back when. And I'm like, I'm going fucking awfully at this. Because I forgot the basic mechanics, like using the flashlight to stun enemies, and it's like, okay, you know what, I'm going to have to restart the entire thing.
That's always fun when you come back to a game after ages of not playing it and you're like, right, what are the controls?
It wasn't the controls necessarily, it was more the subtleties of, okay, this is how you beat enemies, and this is how you conserve ammo, and it's the little things. it's the little things which actually keep you alive and not using all of your ammo. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a day from the rage and I'm going to go back to it and start afresh. So I'm probably going to play it a little bit today, to be honest.
Cool. As well as playing a bit of Doom, obviously been playing Inside for the channel, so played a bit more of that yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Probably won't be up by the time this video does, but they will be up that week. So yeah, I think I'm approaching the end, and it's been very good experience, although grim to say the least.
Well,
it's play dead. It kind of goes without saying.
I was gonna say it's not really like it's Sunset Overdrive
or a child murder simulator. Pretty much. So how many times can you die horribly? How many times can you jump off a thing you shouldn't jump off and break your legs?
Ask Lara. I used to hate that back in the day on like the original Tomb Raider. You remember the original Tomb Raider on PS1? Yes. I used to hate when you miss a ledge by like 1 millimeter because you were just subtly out of alignment from the jump, and you couldn't quite tell because of the camera angle and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it. The frustration of fuck. There's a save crystal like 500 miles back. I've died, and now I have to rerun all that to try the same jump again.
Yeah, I don't particularly have fond memories of Tomb Raider 1 because there was just one jump that would just be the bane of my life.
Can you remember what that was?
No.
I think the first couple of levels, especially the dinosaur level and the very, very first opening level of Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider, are possibly some of my best video game memories because I played it originally on the Sega Saturn.
Right.
And I had a demo of the original, a part of the first level, which was at the time pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
And then obviously I was following its progress from all the magazines, like CVG at the time. And finally I got the damn game, and I remember a friend of mine, James, and I were playing it, and we were like just slowly making our way through this massive labyrinth. It was pretty weird.
Yeah, I have better memories of Tomb Raider 2. The old favourite of locking the butler in the freezer. That was good times.
I never liked Tomb Raider 2 as much as 1. I think 1 had, for me at least, the best memories. And I really liked the remake, not the 2013 one, but there was an actual Tomb Raider anniversary.
Yeah, I remember having that. I think it was the original Xbox. Don't quote me on that.
No, it's been the 360, I think.
There was a game called Tomb Raider. Was it Anniversary or something that had on the original Xbox? I don't know.
I don't know if there was a Tomb Raider on the original Xbox.
No, there 100% was because I had it.
Okay, now I'm going to Google it.
Get your Google fill on. He's Googling.
Yeah, I am Googling. Alright.
Yeah, I'm positive. Or maybe. Yeah, it's listed Xbox.
No, that's Xbox. Oh, yeah,
you see?
That's Legend.
You see?
That's Legend.
Well, maybe it was Legend then. I can't remember if it was Anniversary or what. I know there was a game that I had on the original Xbox.
So what the hell's the difference between Anniversary and... You know what? I'm going to have to look at that later because I'll be doing this for the next hour.
Yeah, but it probably was that. Now that I look at the cover, that looks a bit more familiar. But,
Oh, actually, I think this might be... the first...
I played the hell out of this one. If this is the one I had on Xbox. It's pretty great.
It's a celebration. It's the first game of the series not developed... It is a story. I'm not sure. I might have played it, but I'm trying to... Because I know Anniversary. It's going to really annoy the hell out of me. I'm going to have to find this out. Yeah, because
Anniversary is 2007, so it would have been 360.
Yeah, it's the original Tomb Raider using an improved version of the Legend engine.
Yeah, so it wasn't Anniversary, it was Legend that I had. Okay, fair enough. So yeah.
Alright, well, anyway, that was completely off top.
That little tangent was fun. Yeah, so I have good memories of that game as well as Tomb Raider 2. But Tomb Raider 1, I immediately just think of that fucking jump. And
where was it?
I don't remember. I have this memory of being in this game rental place with my mum, and she was like, right, I'll rent you a game with your PS1, and I wanted Tomb Raider 2 because I played Tomb Raider 1 before and remembered this jump, like, just struggled for ages on. She was like, no, you should play Tomb Raider 1 first so that you know what's going on. At the time, I can't remember how old it was, but I just agreed with it. I was like, okay. And then, like, immediately regretted my decision when I got to that one fucking jump. And I was just like, oh god, why?
Did you beat it?
No, I just got pissed off. And I was just like, playing something else.
Failure.
Yeah, I was quite young at the time. I don't remember how old I was, to be honest.
Old enough to realise your failure.
Old enough to be like, nah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
It's like 10 minutes in and we've literally done nothing but talk about Tomb Raider.
I think that's fine. That's a valid way to start a podcast.
Yeah. Well, now PlayStation owners don't feel so bitter, you know, talking about Tomb Raider. The experience is now home for their system as well.
Yeah, that was good times. Yeah, so I think that's it. Doom and Inside already played this week, and Overwatch obviously, but I've talked enough about that game.
Yes.
Well, there was a new map announced at Gamescom. And a new animated short. That was quite good. Other than that, not much news on that front.
I have to admit, just every time I look at Overwatch now...
What?
I just dislike everything about it.
You never even played it.
You don't have to play something to know that something... It's like the art style and just basic... It's like how it reminds me of Team Fortress.
It is very Team Fortress 2.
Which was a game I didn't like, by the way.
Fair enough.
And I just can't deal with it. Like the characters, the artwork, the animation style. I just can't deal with it.
Fair enough.
And normally I like Blizzard games, but this is one of those titles I just...
No, that's fair.
I'm just one of those people who really couldn't get into Team Fortress. I did try a couple of times, and then I realised that it's just not for me. Like, those type of games, I just can't deal with working with other people. Like, a struggling Counter-Strike. I just can't. It's like, you realise people's ineptitude, and then you just...
Oh, man. I mean, okay, I'm a misanthrope, but... Jesus.
You just realise, like, the average person's ineptitude. And one of
but the good thing about Overwatch is it doesn't matter if one of your team members is bad. Unless they're the healer, then it matters.
But that's the problem. It's like, for me...
But I usually take healer, so it's fine.
For example, one of the things that used to piss me off really on Counter-Strike is when you would have the random assignment of teams. And by random assignment, I mean like all the good players would go on the same team. So, for example, let's say...
I see.
So let's say it was even-ish. So let's say, for the sake of argument, you had 10 versus 10 or 12 versus 12. Then... And it was fairly even. So it was like... The good players were roughly even. You had like 5 good players, really good players, and like 5 really bad players on each team, for the sake of argument. And it was roughly balanced. But on public, then you would inevitably get like the next map where it would be like 9 good versus like one good on the other team. It's like, yeah, this is going to be balanced. And of course, I was the unlucky bastard who happened to be on the other team. So it's like half the time you're trying to carry them. Of course, you do get the feel-good moments where you manage to massacre all the other team. But still. And it's the worst thing as well when you get blocked by the other player. And like, they'll block you so you can't move. Then you get shot because you can't get back to cover because the twats blocked you. And then they pick up your gun and immediately die a second later because they're shit. And it's like little...
Wait, hang on. So your teammates can block you?
Yeah, they block you. Yeah, they block you physically. And people get really pissed, especially on like non-public. Like if you go to like a clan server and people do that, they'll get banned. But on a lot of public, what happens is that you...
Why would someone on your team do that?
Because they want your gun, because they were broke, so they wanted to steal your gun.
Ah.
So what they'll do is they'll block you, and then you'll die, of course, because you can't get behind cover. So like, let's say you're leaning out to...
I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, so you're trying to lean out and peek, or they're just shit, so they're not aware of the movement, so they're trying to get back and they'll just block you anyway. And it's like stuff like that. It's just like, this is why I don't play online games anymore.
To be fair, like, I normally don't either.
I know that sounds very misanthropic, but it's...
Well, welcome to this channel. Two misanthropes talking about video games.
Pretty much. It's like normally, I don't mind, like, I can deal with some stuff online, but team-based games just annoy me way too much.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Overwatch is pretty inoffensive when it comes to that. Like, normally I can't play the sort of games either.
For some reason, though, it worked really well for Titanfall. Like, Titanfall, I could actually play okay with.
Yeah, I think it honestly depends on the game. Like, Overwatch, like, you get some people who are like, lol, easy and stuff like that. Blizzard actually did a great thing. Like, say if you type GG easy.
Yeah, if they do enough things, they're going to eventually hit the gold, I guess.
Like, you have to, if you type just easy, nothing happens. If you type just GG, obviously nothing happens. But GG easy in one thing, and it will get changed to like, oh, I'm really insecure and I'm just looking for attention.
Oh dear.
Like, oh, I'm a bad person, but I'm trying to be good, guys. I'm just like Blizzard. 10 out of 10. To be fair, I've never seen anyone use GG easy in one thing, but it's still funny.
I was going to say.
Anyway,
so now people could just type in good game and then easy in the next line.
They could just type easy and that's it. If that avoided, done. And also, they're not going to punish people for saying GG because that's good practice.
Yeah. Said good game, but it was a bad game. I love that meme. Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's so great.
Yeah, I've seen that. Anyway, we should really get on topic.
Oh no, it's like 16 minutes in.
Amazing start. Let's talk about Konami things to start things off. Oh dear.
You know,
rip in peace, Metal Gear Solid.
Do you know the funny thing is that the first 30 seconds of the trailer, I was actually really interested.
Yeah, and then zombies.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I could have dealt with the zombies if they'd have done it like a spin-off as DLC for Metal Gear Solid 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like it, I wouldn't say reused the same maps, but they were basically just heavily altered. Some of the areas heavily altered, and it was like DLC, and it was non-serious single-player DLC content just for fun. I actually would have been okay with it.
Yeah, but it's not that. Oh, they have said it's not going to be $60, but I doubt it'll be free.
No, and I'm just like, you know, I don't have anything against it, but once again, it's co-op online, and there are so many games that are doing that as well.
Just like, okay, but here's a scenario that we have to consider. Like this, if it just came out like out of the blue without the current situation, it wouldn't be as bad. But the current situation makes it worse because, like, obviously, Kojima's gone. He's made his own company. He's doing Death Stranding, whatever the fuck that is, and Konami have said, we're not done with games, guys, honest, even though we spent the last year torching our reputation, we're not done with games, honest. And then, like, so the pressure was on them to do something good with the Metal Gear franchise, to prove that they could still make good games without Kojima in the Metal Gear franchise, right? And what do? The most generic thing possible. A co-op online zombie thing.
As I said, if they'd have done it as a DLC, I think people would have. If they'd have been like, you know what, this is DLC, we have games that we're working on, but this is just DLC in the meanwhile, I think people would have been okay with it.
Yeah, but the chance,
you know, to do it like Black Ops Zombies. If they'd have done it like Black Ops
something
Zombies,
like that would actually be okay. But this is probably going to be, if I had to guess, $40 or something like that. And
or 55. It's not 60.
It's not 60, guys. We didn't lie.
Yeah. But if you want to play on as the other team, another $5.
that's DLC. That is.
Yeah.
If you want to play Snake, it's an extra $5.
If you want to play Zombie Snake, it's $5. If you want the ability to reload your gun manually,
I said a horrible thought. It's gonna be $40 or 30 or whatever, right?
Right.
But then it's obviously gonna have microtransactions as well.
Of course.
Because they're not above that even in Metal Gear Solid 5, so, you know, why wouldn't they?
Well, there's base insurance.
That's what I mean.
That's terrible.
That worst microtransaction ever. Holy crap.
I don't know, horse armor.
That's not microtransaction, that's just really bad DLC.
That's bordering on microtransaction. It's fucking armor for your horse that's completely aesthetic.
Do you know what someone said that was kind of funny? You know there's going to be horses in Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
There's a new trailer or something showing how horses will actually work in gameplay in multiplayer. And someone was like, oh, if I can't buy DLC for my horse, I'm not interested. Just like, well done, that's good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, Metal Gear Survive looks like literal AIDS. Looks awful.
Maybe the AIDS virus is actually what made the zombies.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, it kind of gave me Last of Us 5 with the Cordyceps or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah, I also didn't really like the look of them.
It just the whole thing was just.
I think it was a bit of an odd choice as well of all of their. I think the reason they used Metal Gear.
Well, because it's in the limelight with how good Metal Gear 5 was.
I think it was that, but I also think it was partly to do with the engine.
Well, yeah, they've got an engine kicking around that they can use, and it just makes me worry because they have a lot of properties that I care about, like Silent Hill. And I'm like, okay, if this is the direction you're going, just stop.
I'm surprised they didn't use Silent Hill.
Oh god, they've already done a co-op thing for Silent Hill. It's called Book of Memories.
Yeah, but it could have actually worked rather well.
Just no, stop.
Oh right, Silent Hill's pachinko anyway.
It's time to stop. Hit the lever.
Pull the lever.
Oh.
Pull the lever.
Pull the lever.
Mm.
Yes, that's terrible and awful. What about Zen?
Not terrible and awful.
Cool. Would you like care to elaborate?
It's pretty good.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. So basically, AMD did a reveal-y thing.
They did?
Yeah. Which I've done a technical analysis on as well.
Plug. I
I'm
can't see you nodding.
You do loads of gestures and assume that they can interpret them. See?
Yeah, but
See?
Then you point out to me that they can't see it. So
Exactly, so it's role reversal, bitch. It's role reversal.
It's reminding you that they can't see
Yeah,
these
well, I'm doing some role reversal on your candy ass. Anyway. So basically, the Zen, the Summit Ridge, the high-end one that we know about, which is 8 processor cores, 16 threads, was up against the 6900K from Intel, which is the same number of cores, and running at the 2 processors at the same speed. Zen slightly pipped it to the post, which is very impressive considering it's an engineering sample.
So does that mean the full customer version's to be a bit better, possibly?
Yeah, it'll definitely run at, well, I say definitely, but it should run at higher clock speeds.
So all about that Zen then?
Yeah, unfortunately it's not going to be released until 2017 is when Lucius Sue's saying they're going to have large numbers available in retail.
Not really surprised though.
But, you know what, I'd rather they take longer and get things that don't,
Have they said anything about, like, if people are going to have to upgrade their motherboards and such?
Well, yeah, of course, it's going to be AM4.
Right, okay.
So, I think AM4 motherboards are out for certain things soon anyway, for, like, certain processors.
So if you've got, like, a Scarlet motherboard, tough out luck.
Well, yeah, because that's Intel.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Well, arguably, you're not really going to want to...
Yeah, I suppose it depends on how expensive they are.
I mean, honestly, the chip prices are going to be the real thing, like how much money they're going to cost versus the Intel equivalents. So all we can do is just wait. I mean, I'm hoping they're going to be... this is a dream scenario that the 8-core Zen will be the same as the 4-core i7s from Intel. So equivalently, they're like £300 for the high-end. But whether it turns out to be that, or whether AMD decide to smack another 50% on top...
Yeah, well, they haven't said one way or the other.
Although, the only reason I'm thinking they might do it cheaper is because the reports are that AMD are very focused on getting the high-end core versions out. So, it's possible that that's what they're going to want to focus on, to basically beat Intel, not in terms of single core performance, but to beat them in like, yeah, we've got more processor cores, ha ha ha.
Well... that seems to be their strategy, is try and reduce the price of things at the minute with their graphics cards. So
well, that's until Vega comes out, which is going to be like the equivalent of the 1080s and the Titans, probably.
Yeah, but for now, they are very much making it more affordable to get great performance on PC. So
yeah, I mean, like the 470, 480.
Yeah, like as I said many times, a friend of mine is looking to get into PC gaming, and I'm fully preparing to recommend that she get a 480 because what else would I recommend?
470.
Yeah, 470 would be a decent option.
1060 6GB because fuck the 8. Fuck the 3.
3 GB is a waste of space, but
well, it doesn't have enough space. That's the problem.
I recommend the 480 because you can always get a second one. You can't do that with 1060.
Yeah, but 1060 is A, faster on standard speed, and B, is she really going to use SLI? The problem is most people say they're going to use Crossfire SLI, but most people, by the time they come to do that, there's a faster card available.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to it, we'll see. But it's probably
I'm
going to be the 1060 or the 480.
I think both cards have got their positives and negatives. Neither one's got the.
She doesn't do any editing or anything, so she doesn't care about CUDA or anything like that.
Well,
so.
it doesn't really matter because on that recent versions of Thing, you can use GPU Open anyway. So.
Yeah, I'm just saying she doesn't really care about shadow play or any of that. So, yeah.
All right.
What else have we got?
Scorpio is the last of the console generation.
Apparently, according to Aaron Greenberg.
Well, not Scorpio specifically, but this current generation of consoles, which means hardware intermittent
Yeah, so basically,
upgrades.
we're not going to get an Xbox 2. We're just going to get constant upgrades to the current hardware.
Which, that makes... There's one real weird thing I've got about that, and no one's really asked them in an interview. And I have a feeling that they've either refused to answer it, or they just don't know, or no one's thought to actually ask them it. And it's a very simple question, right?
Okay.
What the hell happens? So at the moment, Gears of War 4 is being released on the Xbox One, the One S. Let's ignore PC for a moment, and the Xbox Scorpio, right? So the same version will run across a myriad of devices, right? The Xbox family, right? Let's assume Gears of War 5 is released in 2 years' time, and it does the same. What the hell happens when Gears of War 7 is released? But they're not doing an upgrade.
At a certain point, they're going to have to say that games will no longer work with the Xbox One.
Exactly, but then isn't it technically another generation at that point? Or
yeah, technically, yeah, but
or is it a rolling upgrade? And my point with that is, are you going to get people bitching and saying, "Hey, you never actually said that there would be an upgrade, and I expect my original Xbox, which is now 15 years old." And
I don't think anyone reasonable is going to expect that Gears of War 7, which runs on the Xbox bloop-de-bloop, like 3 versions down the line, to still work on their Xbox One when that console is probably going to be an absolute beast in comparison to the Xbox One.
Yeah, it's going to stomp the Scorpio most likely.
Yeah. So there's no way that a thing that runs on that is still going to run well on the Xbox One without severely hampering the other version, which kind of defeats the object.
I also wonder how that's going to impact developers. I mean, one can argue that PC's doing it with like the very low settings, but there's still like a minimum requirement.
Yeah, the thing is, a PC is like, you might not be able to run this game, but they tell you, here's what you need to run it. Yeah. Straight off the bat. You go on to Steam, here are the specs, I don't have those specs, therefore I shouldn't buy this game. Or if I do, be prepared for some pretty bad frame rate, or play on lower settings.
Or be prepared to just, be running Titans and No Man's Sky, that type of thing.
Oh dear. Yeah, so it's an interesting claim to make, and it doesn't...
So was some of the stuff with No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Like they said, it wasn't going to be a disappointing piece of shit, and here we are.
I did a video yesterday. Just go watch it. Basically, what we can all learn as a community from the launch of No Man's Sky.
The problem with No Man's Sky, and this is very off topic, the problem I had with No Man's Sky isn't the game. Like, as a game, it's not my thing. The problem I have with No Man's Sky is that the developers constantly were so vague with their damn promises, and so
I feel
so
like that's why the hype train got so out of control.
But you know what?
Their obsession with mystery.
I blame the developers, but I also blame Sony. Sony are as much to blame because of their constant hype as well. Like, these guys are pretty new to creating games. Like, in comparison,
Sony have made games before, but they went from Joe Danger to this.
Yeah, exactly. So Sony should have told them, who were publishing the damn game, guys, you might want to rein this in a little bit. And of course, Sony were doing it because essentially it helps sell the PlayStation hype. But really, it was down to Sony. It was down to No Man Games, and also gamers as well. Like, people, I don't know what, I think people had this expectation that they were going to be able to go to any planet and create space colonies, and to be able to create, Death Stars, and to be able to just, do everything. And it was like little things like, what pissed a lot of people off is, like the online thing.
Yeah, there were several they never outright promised multiplayer, but they did allude to it several times.
Yeah, well, it was actually on the back of the box, and then they put a sticker over it.
Wow.
And there was also little things like they said that no player is ever, the chances of finding another player and being in exactly the same planet in exactly the same location as another player is so infinitesimal that it's not going to happen, basically, in realistic scenarios. And within a week, within a couple of days, someone did it. And two streamers were in the same location.
Yeah, obviously, because they deliberately arranged to meet at a certain place.
I don't actually think they did deliberately do it.
I'm pretty sure they would have had to arrange it.
I don't think they did. And even if they didn't, even if they did, the fact of the matter is, what made it even crazier to me is that they couldn't see each other. And then that little whole fiasco got blamed on the fact that, oh, it's because the game's so popular and its servers are down. I'm like, so you're also telling me your servers can't handle it and you didn't expect a smash hit? It's like, oh. As I said, I don't have anything against the game per se, but the expectations, I think, needs to be...
This is probably the most insane hype machine I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, but it was everyone's fault.
Oh yeah, no one person is to blame, and even Hello Games felt the brunt of it because, like, you know, there was a whole thing where some Jason something or other, I forget his name, from Kotaku, reported that the game was delayed, and people sent him death threats to basically accuse him of lying. And then when it came out that he was telling the truth, they just switched targets and started death threatening the developers instead, which makes no sense. It's like, yeah, release the game or we'll kill you, but then if we kill you can't ever release the game, so self-defeating threat really, but I'm going to threaten to kill you anyway.
You know what's really interesting about all those folks who did that?
They're insane, should probably seek help.
Well, no, what I find really interesting about it, yeah, is that they're all like raging on the internet about how No Man's Sky is the best game ever.
So go play it then!
Exactly, but then...
It's so great when you're doing Twitter raging about it.
I don't understand that philosophy. I don't know.
I know. It's like, what I keep hearing is how relaxing the game is, and I'm like, okay, but their fans seem really angry.
Yeah, do you need some relaxation?
You need some relaxation in your life, bro. Anyway, what else have we got?
So only refunds talking about disappointment and sadness.
This is kind of related on the topic of No Man's Sky because of how some people have been disappointed about the release of No Man's Sky.
And some people made ill, by the way, because of the shitty FOV.
Yeah, numerous people tried to get a refund from Sony because they bought it digitally on the PlayStation Store, which seems like an ill choice, but, you know, you make these choices, you live by them, you learn from them. And, you know, numerous people were reporting things like crashes, motion sickness. Some people felt they were lied to, the game was misrepresented, which I can't really blame them for feeling like that, to be honest.
Very hard to argue.
And they tried to get a refund, and...
Not so much.
Most people were either denied, because Sony's refund policy is fucking broken, and one of the people who was actually offered a refund... Do you know what the customer rep said?
Yeah, we're going to take away the license, so you can't even play the physical version.
Yeah, so like, let's say you get a refund for No Man's Sky, and 6 months later down the line, it's been patched up the wazoo, and it's much better. So you think, you know what, I'm going to go back to it now, because I like the game, but I just felt like it needed more time, you know? But I didn't want to keep my $60, like, in nothingness for that time, which is fair. Oh, you can't ever play the game again. Sorry. What? That makes no sense. Like, and the weird thing was... Sony actually came out and made a statement and said that's not true, that you should be able to play it again if you want. Well, the customer reps need to tell them that then. That's not what they're telling people. And just to refresh people's memory in case they didn't know, the refund policy is done. Basically, you can return it within 14 days if you haven't downloaded or streamed it all. Unless it's broken. So, if you've even downloaded it 2% and you decide, you know what, I've changed my mind, tough.
Which is ridiculous.
That makes no sense at all. Like, how am I supposed to know that I need to refund the game unless I play it? I have a similar thing to Steam, where as long as you have played it for less than 2 hours and it's been not been less than 14 days, you can return it, no questions asked. Like, that's a reasonable return policy.
Even an hour would be okay. An hour.
An hour would be acceptable, but 2 is more reasonable. But even an hour would be better than what they have now.
It's ridiculous.
Which is a joke.
But you know what? It's for the players, apart from the money back.
This is bad, really.
I mean, as much as I criticise Microsoft for their shitty policies on like Windows 10 and all of this,
no company is perfect.
No, they're not.
Because at the end of the day, there are all these people are massive corporations, and they care.
They're
about
not your friend.
Money. No, they're not. They're not. They just happen to make products that you sometimes enjoy and sometimes don't enjoy.
Steam has big problems. I mean, yeah, they have a good refund policy, but then their greenlight system is shit.
Yeah, but how long did it take them to get that refund policy?
But the problem I find is that people make excuses. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I support Valve as well. Like, I use Steam all the time, but they need to sort it out. They really do. It's bad with green light and early access. And,
It is. Their quality control is awful.
It's non-existent. It's non-existent. Like, so many shareware asset flip games make their way into Steam, and it's bad. Like, I know they probably get thousands of submissions per day, and it's impossible to quality control them all, but they need something.
Yeah, basically.
A basic standard. You know, like, it's quite hard to get onto PS4 and Xbox One as an indie developer, because Sony and Microsoft have quality standards. They will not have a broken game on their system. Unless it's Master Chief Collection.
Or No Man's Sky.
Or No Man's Sky. But most
or
of
Assassin's Creed Unity.
Don't even with that. Bad thing was the console versions were actually the better version out of that and the PC at launch. But most of the time, you won't get an asset flip on console. You won't get that. You won't get some game that's literally a carbon copy of something else.
What about COD? That's not true.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Activision recently?
Oh dear, don't even with that. I don't understand the popularity of Call of Duty.
To be honest, I don't have anything against Call of Duty. I
mean, if people enjoy it.
I actually admit I quite
liked
liked Advanced Warfare. I thought it was quite fun.
Well, yeah, but that's because it was actually different. It wasn't just the last one with improved graphics. I liked Advanced Warfare.
Sorry, did you say improved graphics or the same graphics? I misheard you.
Advanced Warfare was good. I liked Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
And to be fair, Infinite Warfare, it looks like it potentially could be good. I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite funny though because that's one of the most downvoted trailers apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it depends like how much of the game is actually like that as to how well it's received.
What's funny though is that then you get the fans that say we want something different, they do something different, and then they get downvoted. Yeah. So it's like, well,
I think one of the reasons is they're holding the remake of COD 4 hostage. That's probably why.
Maybe, but I think they started to downvote it before that.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Anyway.
What else have we got? Oh yes, the 3DS did very well for the month of July. It was the best-selling console.
Really?
Beat both PS4 and Xbox One. And
to be fair though, what was available on those systems at that point?
Well, according to Nintendo, it came down to various factors. I think there was a game called Monster Hunter Generations or something like that out on 3DS, so they attributed that to the success.
Right.
But they also said that Pokemon Go was a big success, a big reason behind it, because they said they saw a huge increase in sales. I think it was something silly like 200% increase for Pokemon X and Y, and then 80% increase for Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the games before that. So basically people playing Pokemon Go, who maybe perhaps not played Pokemon in years or never played it before, thought, oh, this is really good, I wonder what the actual games are like, and gone and played those, and obviously bought a 3DS to go with it. And yeah, pretty damn impressive, I'm not gonna lie. And I wonder if it's actually going to translate into sales for Pokemon Sun and Moon, which is out in November. So we'll see.
I wonder if it's also going to make a difference for the NX.
Possibly, yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, if it's taking people who might necessarily have been gamers and getting them into gaming through that, then I'm not going to be playing.
It depends though. I mean, if all they're going to play is bloody Pokemon, then.
Well, no, I mean, I think a lot of us started our gaming lives playing games like Pokemon, but obviously as you grow, you play other games, you branch out. It's just, it's a journey, isn't it, really? I know I played Pokemon a lot when I was younger.
I'm only going to hum it because otherwise they're probably going to do like a, clamp down.
You sure you don't mean that she's just a small town girl stuck in a lonely world? Is that not what you mean? Taking a midnight train going anywhere.
Apart from, she took a midnight train to anywhere in the sky.
Anyway, should we wrap things up with Vega?
Yeah, speaking about places that go into the sky.
Mm.
So apparently, rumours abound, thanks to celebrations and the fact they recently celebrated the tape out on final design of Vega 10.
Uh-huh.
And also, one of the marketing chiefs over at AMD, who I forgot his name, to be honest, which is pretty awesome of me, has confirmed I was trying to, like, put it off, like, and what does the marketing chief say? No, it's not going to come to mind. Searching for data, searching through my data records. No, it's empty.
Nothing found.
No, I forgot to save the document, apparently. But, yeah, so basically, he had said that on his own Facebook, he posted a photo of, like, this abandoned... It looked like a post-World War II factory. I don't know. It's a very small image. At least a small shot. And he said that it's going to be the Vega launch venue. And so people are speculating that it's going to coincide with the release of Battlefield, the debut show. Now, whether that turns out to be true or not, I don't know. Ultimately, AMD, however, probably are feeling some pressure because of the success of the GTX 1070 and the 1080. And while the RX 480 is certainly doing well for the mainstream, ultimately, there are a lot of folks who are buying for 4K displays.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite weird. And then, of course, we've got the news of the new GPUs, which are going to be the successor to Vega and Pascal.
We do?
Well, yeah. Supposedly, NVIDIA are going to be, and of course it's all hearsay,
Yes.
using the same process for its successor GPU for next year, and it's not going to be 2018. And AMD are going to be doing the same for the Vega successor, but whether that's going to be true or not...
He's shrugging, everyone.
Yeah, it's like... There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the tech world at the moment. It really is. It's going to be a very interesting year or two, especially with the new consoles coming out, Vulkan, DirectX 12, we're seeing a lot more CPU advancements. We're seeing, like, the advent of HDR becoming normal on monitors, virtual reality, 4K displays becoming a lot cheaper. We're seeing major improvements in the uptake of PC gaming. We're seeing I would say the emergence as well of a lot more studios pushing towards much better game engines. It's going to be really weird over the next few years.
Yeah, it's an interesting time, and I feel like it's only going to get more interesting.
I think so.
I mean, one of the cool things about the iterative console thing is it basically is adopting a PC-like lifespan, kind of.
Yeah.
Where you buy a graphics card and then 3, maybe 4 years later you probably have to replace it if you want to keep on top of things. So, it's interesting. I wonder if it means that we can have more of a sort of shared space of console and PC. That could be interesting.
I do not know.
Well, only time will tell.
Yeah. We will as well if you stay subscribed.
Yes, we'll be here giving you all the tech things about technological things and speaking nonsense, as always.
Yeah.
So, thank you for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week. And as always, any questions, do feel free to hit us up in the comments on social media and our email, which is contact@redgamingtech.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.